Hi guys, Swedish. I was going to say Swedish fire torch, but yeah, I'll explain that. Firebox stove. This is part 3 or part 4, I don't know. After many unsuccessful attempts on keeping the embers at bay, just want to show you, for the people that don't own one of these, what I mean about the holes at the bottom of the... I keep calling it the Swedish Firebox. I don't know why, because I've got Swedish Fire Torch just lodged in my brain. I keep saying it. But anyway, the Firebox, not Swedish Firebox, at the bottom. Just turn your attention to this. So now it's empty. You can see 5 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then obviously the slots around it for the airflow, and for the ash to go down as well. Okay, I've not really looked into why them holes are there. I don't know if it's because if it's to add aid flow, or is it just simply there for the ash to drop onto the ash plate underneath. I'm presuming that's why the holes are there, but if that's the reason, to let the ash go through the bottom and catch on the ash plate at the bottom, then why do the holes need to be that big? You've got 5 big holes there, nearly the size of a 1p piece. Okay, now that's after many failed experiments. I've got some mash on the camera. That to me is stopping your embers from forming and relighting, is because the holes are there. So your burning hot embers are actually dropping through the holes, hitching the ash plate, and they are rapidly cooling down, and then obviously burning off to completely to form ash. Obviously that's what the ash plate is for. But to keep sustainable fire going, you need them embers. Okay, so you need them embers to cook on. You need the embers for relighting the fire. You need them embers to keep your fire going. So all you have to do is just keep dropping fuel in there. The embers will ignite your dry fuel, and then your fire will start. But the holes at the bottom are preventing you from doing that. So you can see now I've got no sticks or fire in there. Okay, that it's not there to aid ventilation, because there is plenty of ventilation going around this firebox all the way around. You can see the amount of holes in there, so it's well ventilated, and it's going to supply much needed oxygen to the fire to keep it going. But you know, the holes at the bottom, you know, why are they that big? They don't need to be that big. And I think when I get home, I think I'm going to just look it up. I'll see if I can find, because there's plenty of videos on the Firebox on YouTube, and even though I've had this Firebox for a few years and I've used it constantly, I still don't know why them holes are there, because it's not something that I've looked up. So if them holes, that big holes, wasn't there, your fire would burn a lot more efficiently. So if anybody from Firebox or makes these is watching my video, please explain to me why those big 5 holes the size of a pence piece is doing at the bottom of the Firebox. And if it is to release ash onto the ash plate, then why do they need to be that big? And if they are obviously that big, then why do they need to be so close together? Now I have heard, or seen rather, that you can use a Swedish fire torch. Again, Swedish fire torch at the beginning of this video. That's why I've got it on my brain. Swedish fire torch in the Firebox. I've never used that method before, not in the Firebox. On an open fire I've used that method and it's very effective, but I've never used the method in the Firebox, which I might try actually. Now whether or not it's to use, if it's to aid that in any way, I don't know. Can't see how, but I don't know. So yeah, I mean, when I was cooking my dinner, I put as many sticks as I could. Obviously, this is the one I took out for the purpose of the video, which is a bit of pine. Oh, I love burning pine, that smell. And within minutes of my food bubbling, the embers was going out at the bottom. So I had to feed more and more sticks in to keep the fire going. And it's not what you want. And it's something that's been playing on my mind for a good few years now, since I've been using the Firebox, is the amount of fuel it takes is just stupid. And it's got to a point where I no longer take the Firebox out in the field with me. I've got another stove that I use when I'm in a location where I can't have a wildfire, which I'll show in the upcoming videos. Excuse me, I've just had my dinner, I do apologise. But yeah, which is far better at producing embers than this Firebox is. And it's daft, because especially in winter, when you need more fuel, more wood to keep the fire going, I mean, even in summer, or you still need a lot of wood, even in the warmer seasons, to keep the Firebox running. But in winter, you need 3 times as much to keep the Firebox going, especially if you're using it as a primary heat source and not just for cooking. And to me, that's just not efficient enough. They need to come up with a design where they haven't got 5 massive holes close to each other. I can see why they've done it, but you don't need that many holes for the ash to drop through at all. So the next thing I'm looking at is I'm going to find a piece of steel, or stainless steel, to the same size of the center of this base plate here. So I'm trying to find the same gauge steel as this, if I can. If not, then it's probably going to have to be a much thinner steel, but we'll see what I've got lying about, and see if that makes a difference when I'm blocking them holes up. Now, as far as the ash concerned, the ash will still be able to probably come through these grates here and drop onto the ash pan, if need be. So, but I'll play around with it anyway, and see. So now, these days, I use the Firebox at the allotment in winter now. Obviously to cook my food in, etc. And and it's for those reasons I've discussed in the videos, the short videos I've done today, why I no longer take the Firebox out in the field, which is a bit disappointing really. But I did own the Bushbox XL. I can't remember for the life of me what the base plate was like on that, whether or not it had big holes like that one does. I'm not too sure. So I'm probably going to fashion some sort of, maybe some stainless steel, or maybe some some sort of grate wire or something like that, or some sort of grill to cut up, to put over the top of the holes. But at the same time, design it in such a way that the ash can still drop through to the ash plate underneath, and that way obviously you're going to build your embers up, which is exactly what you need, and make it a lot more user friendly and a lot more efficient, because as it is at the minute, it's not efficient enough for me. If it works for for other people out there, that's fine if you can make it work, but I can't make it work out in the field without putting ridiculous amounts of wood on it. Inside it rather. So again, I'm going to do some experiments, do different fire lays inside. I've tried 3 different fire lays this morning. Well, I've got some time to do it, and I've got time to do videos like this to see if I can come out with a method, but as far as I can tell so far is that's probably going to be my only option, is make or cut some sort of base plate and slot it down the center. Obviously make it slightly shorter than the base plate that's already in, because obviously as soon as it gets hot it's going to expand, and I don't want it wedged in between the firebox, so I can't fold it up. So obviously it needs to be able to look slightly shorter, so I can just like pull it out when I'm putting the firebox away. But yeah, it's really good stove. Probably one of the most used and top stoves out there, or for bushcraft and wild camping, although it used to be. But now I'm not too sure. I'm not so sure now. I think probably there's going to be better options out there now for the firebox, unless they come up with another design where the ash can still drop onto the catch tray, the ash tray, but at the same time keep the embers hot and burning. So yeah, thanks again for watching. I don't know if this is the 3rd or 4th video I've done on this firebox this morning, but I just wanted to show you firsthand the problems that you can have with some of these stoves, and try and give you ideas on how to make it more energy efficient, so you're not putting loads and loads of sticks and wood in, and because it is ridiculous that the amount of fuel it takes to burn in there. It is just horrendous, and that's one of the reasons, as I've suggested before, one of the reasons why I don't use it. Apart from that, it's a cracking stove, very good quality, brilliant quality steel, hardly ever warps at all, not really had any major issues with warping like the other fireboxes I've used in the past, but it's just that base plate for me, it just puts me right off. I don't want to be up all night feeding it and feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. You know, I actually do want it to do its job and sustain the fire on its own, without me waking up every 2 minutes to see if my fire's gone out, which it will do in its current design. So again, leave your comments down below if you've got any suggestions, or if you find this is a problem for you as well. I've not really come across any videos on YouTube about this problem. People just buy them and say it's amazing stove, which it is. It is a good stove, well worth the money. But people don't. Some people, I don't know, maybe they don't use it as often as I did, that noticed these problems. I said to a guy who's commented on one of my posts this morning, when I do these reviews and things, there's always going to be pros and cons with everything that you use, whether it be stoves, knives, tents, anything, backpacks. There's pros and cons to everything on the market. There is pros and cons. There's no such thing as a perfect stove, perfect backpacker jacket, and that perfect knife. There's no such thing, guys. There's always going to be a pro and a con, and this is one of those cons, which for me is a major one. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to rattle my brain a bit and see if we can come up with a design for the base plate, one that might be more energy efficient and waste less fuel. So yeah, on that note, drop your comments down below, see what you find works for you. And if you've got a Firebox XL or the model below it, just let me know how you find it and what you do to make it more fuel friendly and efficient. So yeah, peace out for now, guys. Thanks for watching.